Okay, boys, episode 43. This is a special one for us today.
It is. It's a road gig.
Yeah, we are here at District Bicycles in Stillwater, Oklahoma, with the owner, the man, the proprietor, one of the proprietors, I guess. Yeah, and we were here with Bobby Wintle. I had to look at. I know your name's Bobby because I was like, how am I going to remember your name? Bobby,
Bicycle Bob.
Robbie. That's what we were texting each other, and I was like, I don't know if that's like derogatory
Bicycle
or
Bob.
shitty, but yeah, we're gonna get to the show in just a moment. But first, just a little bit of business. First and foremost, thank you guys so much for listening. We see the numbers. We see you.
They're rising.
They're rising, and it makes us feel so good.
Like cream to the top.
That's right. And so if you do listen and you like what you hear, the best thing you can do for us, first and foremost, is subscribe, review, tell a friend. Word of mouth is what we live on at Boys.
For sure.
So if you like this, share it with a friend. Just send them to boyspodcast.com, the hub of all things boys. And then we're also on iTunes, Stitcher, and SoundCloud.
SoundCloud, all that stuff.
Yep. And I would thank the Paramount building, but we're not there today. So
no, thanks District Bicycles
That's right.
for having
And
us in the back of your shop.
we're
here.
actually, just to paint a picture, we are in the back of this amazing bicycle shop in Stillwater. We walked in, and no bullshit. I walked in and I was just like, damn, this place is way cooler than I had even imagined. Yeah. So without further ado, we are going to get to that. Also, thank you to Anthem Brewery, as always, being great to us, and fatbison.com. Good friend Matt, maker of high quality hand-carved wooden signs, great gifts for dads, moms, boys,
grads.
Dads and grads. I love that. And so, yeah, this is episode 43. Without further ado, Bobby Wintle. Bobby, how you doing, man?
I'm doing wonderful.
It's so good to meet you in person.
So good to meet you.
Yeah.
Robbie and then Josh, am I right?
Sir.
Correct?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. It was so cool coming up here. Our friend Ray, he reached out to us. He likes the show a lot and always has really good things to say to us. And he said, man, you got to get my friend Bobby on. He's like, he owns his bike shop. Cool guy. Think you guys would have a lot of fun. Originally, you were going to come to the city and come to our studio. But man, I'm going to be honest. Like, I am so glad we're here today.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I was a little nervous about, okay, well, all right, well, maybe it's a small, like, you never know.
Right.
And then getting here, like, oh, I'm so fucking glad we did it here.
Yeah, it's awesome. We're in the back of the building now. We were going to do it up front, but it seems a little more intimate back here.
Yeah,
totally. And I'm totally happy with it. So I just got to start off. I mean, how did you start this place?
So it's it's one of those things where it's a deep, long, crazy, really incredible story, but we don't have to go all the way back. But this is year 5. So October 27th was 5 years. Crystal, my wife, and I own the shop together, and I do all the stoke. I do all the, hey, like, you're capable. Mm-hmm. Here's the deal. We're gonna do crazy things on bikes, and you can do this. And people have responded amazingly. So we opened the shop in October of 11 on Main, just about a block and a half away from here, at 712 South Main, with our landlord Corey Williams and his partner, his business partner Ryan Scheller. They took us on. They didn't know what they were doing. It was their first building. Mm-hmm. We thought it was like their 100th because they were putting on this like front. Actually, Corey and I had beers at the bar last night at Finnegan's, which is 2 doors down from our old shop that we frequent a ton. I'm sure we'll talk more about it. But anyway, Corey and I had some beers last night, and we were just rehashing the whole thing, actually, which is funny that we're having this conversation now. But they took us on. We had no collateral in Oklahoma. We had a house in Kansas. Crystal and I and our daughter Emery at the time, she was 1. We lived in Emporia, Kansas. I managed a bike shop there for about a year, High Gear Cyclery. Mm-hmm. And we've been writing our business plan for about 3 years, specifically on Stillwater. We wanted to open with Trek bicycles. So Trek is our primary brand. And at the time, that we basically told them, hey, we'll go anywhere you want. Where do you need a shop? We'll go all over the country, anywhere. And of course, the guy we were talking to looked in his region, which was the Midwest, and he said, Stillwater, Oklahoma. And I told him straight up, we had just been in Stillwater, which Crystal and I had never been here together before that weekend.
Wow.
And my best friend, Greg, who lives down south in Ardmore, Oklahoma, we just kind of met here as a halfway point.
Yeah.
To hang out. And his wife was an OSU alum, so they had connections there, but we knew no one in this town. 2 days later, I'm having a conversation with Trek about being in this town to open a bike shop. So then that was in 2008. And then it took us from that point on 3 years to just redo our house, sell it, get everything we could possibly get together. We had a huge garage sale. I mean, we literally sold the farm, like everything we
like
had.
Completely downsized?
Like pretty much everything to go from our 3-bedroom house, which wasn't big anyway, like 1,100 square feet, to move with Emery. Our son Elliot, who's 4 now, wasn't born yet, and we moved here and we moved into a 1-bedroom apartment.
Wow.
Yeah.
Now, was that just part of the sacrifice and part of saving money, or was it just you needed to find a place quick?
Less shit to move.
Less shit to move. Yeah.
All the above.
Okay. Yeah.
All the above.
Yeah.
We needed to get rid of it all. We wanted to, totally purge just to be focused on the shop and on nothing else.
Mm-hmm.
And so we moved here and literally we got here in like the first week of September, and we worked nonstop with the contractors and with everybody and getting all the bikes in, and we got the shop open. Yeah, at the end of October, and it was just a whirlwind, man. Full, redo on the ceiling and the floors and walls, and we exposed all the brick in that shop, and it was just kind of a shotgun shop, real alley, not wide, but about 130 feet long.
Right.
One workbench, one truing stand to true wheels on and fix bikes. I was the only mechanic. Crystal was the only person besides me in the shop, and we did that for about 5 months, and then we were like, we are gonna die.
Right.
And we have to hire somebody. So we hired Austin Roberts, which was our first ever mechanic. And he basically showed up and was like, I worked at Buchanan's in Norman, bike shop down there. Tobin, good friend of mine. He's like, I worked there for 5 years. I've basically been in the bike business longer than you have, and I'm going to work here. I was like, okay, dude.
All right.
Dude, that's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah. Let me ask you this. So when we started the show, we had this recurring theme that was kind of being the master of your own destiny, doing something big. That was really what it was, the bigger message there. And, when you had that moment where you're like, I want to own my own business, I don't want to work for someone else. I want to do this myself. How did that feel? And how did you make that a reality? Because over the years, I've had ideas, and I know Josh has too, everything from like a venue to a bar to,
absolutely,
all got freelance, whatever it is. But I've always been a little afraid to make the jump.
Yep.
And I just want to know, like, how scary was it? What was that like for you?
I've never, ever been afraid to say the word yes. And to my absolute fault also. Well, I really hope we get into all this other stuff. And it's something I didn't tell you guys, and I don't know if Ray told you or not, but I've been a musician since I was 15. And I was in touring bands.
What band?
For a while. I was in Your Honor.
Okay.
And so, it was like a Jesus Christian rock band, back in the day, like the Under Oath thing, right?
We all come from the Jesus rock. We're not a
Christian band. We're Christians in a band.
Exactly.
Yeah. That's the same.
That's the line.
Yeah.
So, and then I was a worship leader for the college youth group, and anyway, all of that stuff, right? And so I think all the confidence that being in a band from when I was 15, the first band I was in with my best friend I was telling you about earlier before we started, Cale Wright. Cale is from Parsons, Kansas. I'm from Parsons, Kansas. I lived there till I was 21. Cale and his wife Ashley now live up in Burlington, but Cale and I started a band together with a few other guys when I was just turned 15. Cale was 16. It was called Lesbian Gunfire.
All right. Not a Christian band.
Not a Christian band. Not Christians in a band.
Sounds
either.
like a punk band.
It was a punk band.
Yeah.
We were terrible. We played Ramones covers. We played Melt With You. We played Blink covers. We did all this stuff, and absolutely loved it. I was a lead singer, and then ended up buying a Mexican Strat that was the Midnight Blue 2003 Midnight Blue. I still have it. It's in my office across the street. And anyway, put a Seymour Duncan Invader in that because Tom DeLonge had his DeLonge Strat.
May I interrupt for a moment?
Yes.
Have you had an Invader?
Oh yeah,
I've had an Invader.
Absolutely.
We all have been through there.
Okay, we're now putting our fists in the middle.
Yes,
and we're gonna.
This is the Invader fist.
Touch the
Invader fist. That's a punk band name.
It's
Invader
almost like a rite of passage.
It is.
Yeah, and it was because of Tom DeLonge.
It was.
I saw his, and I was like, that thing. And truth be told, they kind of sound like shit.
Oh, they're so muddy,
but they look so cool.
And I don't know.
They're one trick pony.
Yeah.
So I wired it. It was terrible on my guitar. I had to have somebody else fix it. But anyway, Lesbian Gunfire was kind of the start. And all the confidence. I was a front man. I was not great. Gotten In Your Honor. We got signed by a small label in Joplin, Missouri, and recorded and toured and did all of those things that were what we thought were our dream,
Right.
And I had booked just a few label shows in Nashville. Nothing kept going. I mean, we were decent. We weren't incredible. I've got actually have an album. I'll give you guys one.
Sweet.
Would love it.
Yeah.
So we released our album in 2006, but I'm sorry, I'm getting way off track from the question. But basically, before that, when I was 18 years old, I worked for this place in Parsons that was a coffee shop that went big time. Like they went from just a small sandwich coffee shop to a full $300,000 build out in downtown Parsons.
Wow.
It was the place to work, right? I mean, so much debauchery, so much teenage angst, all of the, working in a restaurant. I'm sure you guys have worked in a restaurant.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm 17 years old, working this restaurant. They're tanking because they're trying to go too far and too big. Didn't work out. I ended up being a delivery driver for an office supply store after that in town while I was in community college. and in Your Honor and touring and all this stuff. And I was like, I should just buy the sandwich recipes from the owner. I know her. I know she'll sell them to me. And I asked every single person on my delivery route. I was like, if I did this, would you come? And they were all like, absolutely.
That's awesome.
And
that
so
takes some balls, man.
And so I didn't do it.
Well, okay, you had no balls.
Yeah.
I didn't do it because I met Crystal, my wife, and we started dating. And so I was working 2 jobs, worship leader at the church, part-time, worship leader for the college group, playing at Headway Skate Park in Wichita all the time. I don't know if you ever went to a show there, but it was a skate park indoors. And dude, we ripped that place to shreds. I mean, we had an absolute blast. So, I mean, we were in Wichita half the week. I'm trying to go to Emporia where Crystal was going to school and see her. And so I never did that. I never did that portion of it. But that was when I knew that if I were going to jump forward, that I had the confidence to do it.
Yeah.
And that I would wait till I had a good enough idea to make it happen.
Right.
So then I fast forward, I meet Crystal, and she's like, I've wanted to open my own business since I was 8 years old. And I'm like, what can we do?
Yeah.
What can we do? So, of course, first thing, what do we do as hipster kids or whatever we were, emo kids at the time, which I still think I totally am, by the way.
Yeah.
We're going to open a coffee shop. So we're researching coffee. We're researching roasters. We're thinking about all this stuff, or not roasters, but espresso machines. And we're like, coffee is overdone. Although it's changed so much since 2002, 2003, right? But
Oh, yeah.
and it's gotten really good, by the way. Hoboken, shout out. Evoke Coffee. I'm good friends with Jason at Edmond at Evoke Coffee. Those places are phenomenal. And so we were going to do that. And then her and her dad were really into running at the time and got into bikes from a friend that was a runner. And then they got me into bikes. First time we went on a ride, they were like, oh, hey, we're going to do this 20-mile ride. 20-mile ride. No big deal. And I totally
No
can't.
big deal?
Right. That's what I thought.
That seems like a long ride.
Could we just start with one?
Yeah, let's go
1
1
mile,
mile.
please. One
Like-
block.
Yeah, let's go half a mile there and half a mile back.
Yeah.
So I'm shitting my pants, and I'm like, I'm going to cancel. I don't want to disappoint her dad. He's like, same build as me, super little dude, super wiry, could run across the country if he needed to, anything. The guy's incredible. I love him. And I didn't want to disappoint him, so I canceled. I'm like, I can't do this. Finally, 2 weeks later, 3 weeks later, they're like, no, we're going to do this 20-mile ride. We ended up riding 38 miles.
And your first
My
ride.
first ever ride as an adult.
How sore was your ass after?
My ass hurt.
Yeah.
But
On like a bike, not like a...
I was on a 78 Schwinn that was like 5 times too big for me.
Oh, boy.
Like couldn't even feet touch the ground.
Like, no. Unbelievable. After that ride, I was like, this is it.
Yeah.
This is what we need to do. And
Dang.
so then...
So it was a true moment.
It really was.
defining
An
moment.
awakening.
It was. I was in a dream before, and then I was awake.
Now I'm awake.
Woke, as the kids say.
Oh.
Oh.
That is a thing.
I learned that just now.
Yeah.
I did not know.
I see it on the grams.
I believe it's usually followed with AF.
Yes.
Woke AF.
Yeah.
Woke AF.
Yeah.
Oh,
It's a nice
that's
way
cute.
of saying as fuck. For all
that's
the
cute.
that don't know.
I don't like that, by the way. I think it's just say
What,
it
the
as
F
fuck.
word?
If you're going to say it, just say it. Don't
Yeah.
be a puss. Just
Have
say
the
it.
balls to say fuck.
Yeah.
Right? Exactly.
This is dope as fuck.
Dope
Yeah.
AF.
Not dope AF.
Lit AF. There's a lot of predecessors to AF.
Yeah.
It is nice to text though, because I don't have to like type as much.
Yeah.
And, like, I love
You
to text. I love to text and drive.
As an about to be 36-year-old man, you text AF
to my
after
wife
things?
all the time.
Yeah?
Yeah. I'm
Hey,
like,
honey.
I'm hungry AF.
Honey, what's for dinner tonight? Lasagna? Oh, I love lasagna. That shit is tight AF.
Yep. You just read my screen. Like totally did. So let's fast forward from the ride.
Right from the ride.
Got the gears going.
I'd never
no
thought
pun
of it
intended.
as a moment, but it was. It totally was. I had a 91 Integra at the time
Sweet ride.
with the JVC head unit, and probably had like Saves the Day record in it at the moment, and
Very nice.
huge Saves the Day fan. I hope you guys
As
are.
are we.
hell yeah.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. Big
Great,
time.
great. So I mean, those are my defining albums as a youth.
No. Okay. If you had to pick one,
Oh, yeah.
what is the Saves the Day album for you?
Dude, come on, Through Being Cool.
Man, Through Being Cool's great.
I'm with
What-
you.
Are you?
I was
agreeing with
a
that?
through being cool. I was a through being cool guy until about a month or two ago.
Yep.
I was doing other things and playing my bass and listening to Stay What You Are.
Oh,
and I was
yeah.
like,
No.
shit, this record is tight.
Even.
AF.
Yeah.
Right?
Eben or Evan.
The
on
original
the
bass
bass
player.
player.
Yeah. He's
He
so
was
good.
real good.
I only got to see him live one time.
So my favorite is Stay What You Are. Now, I loved Through Being Cool. I remember I was working at Hot Topic at the time.
Oh, yeah.
I was in high school. I was a senior in high school. I was working at Hot Topic. That album came out, and we had like a listening station, and I had no idea who this band was. I didn't know about Can't Slow Down until I went backwards.
Oh, Can't Slow Down is fantastic.
Yeah, it's great. It's a little different.
It is.
They were finding their sound back then.
He was 16?
Yeah, and you can hear it, like in the cracking of his voice.
I Want to Be Lifetime real bad.
Yeah.
Oh, so much.
So I see the cover of Through Being Cool, and I'm like, it just like spoke to me. I was like, that's me and my friends at any party. We're not the hip ones like getting laid or getting drunk.
No. You
we're
wish we wanted to get laid.
But no, we're like sitting on the couch with our inside jokes, you know?
Right.
So I started listening to it, and I mean, man, from the first track, I was sold.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But fast forward just a little bit.
All Star Me, I think, right?
Well, yeah.
Oh, dude.
That opening guitar, or actually the
you
opening.
plug into the amp.
Yeah, dude, and then the guitar.
Yeah.
So then I go, Stay What You Are comes out a little bit later, and I had grown and matured just a little bit.
Just the way they had.
Yeah,
Just
exactly.
in the same thread.
And I was like, man, they're not a punk band anymore. Not that they've ever were quote unquote punk,
Right.
But they definitely like matured a bit. And when I heard like Nightingale and Firefly,
Nightingale.
like those songs, just I remember like crying listening to these songs.
I bawled my eyes out at the Beaumont Club when I saw them. When Firefly came on, I couldn't control it.
Yeah, dude.
It was one of those moments, you know.
We went
again. We're talking about moments. Maybe we should just call this moments.
Yeah, moments.
Yeah, me, Robbie,
Moments with District.
me,
Moments
Robbie,
with
Jake,
Bobby, Robbie, and John.
and Robbie's sister went to go see Saves the Day in Dallas. What, 2 years ago?
It's about 2 or 3 years
Did
ago.
you go to the show when they played Through Being Cool all the way through?
No,
I did
But,
with
well,
Reggie,
I did.
with
I
Reggie.
did.
Oh,
I did in
shit.
Lawrence. I was at the one in Lawrence for that. Was Reggie
I was
saying
there.
anything? Yeah,
I was on the front
I was there
row.
too.
Really?
I was,
Yes.
I was standing in the back by the bar like a dad,
Yeah,
just
you should.
drinking my beer.
Me and my dad, my dad bud.
Dad bud.
It's
I
a
just
take
said
on,
that.
take on Dad Bod.
Hashtag it. Dad,
Dad
bud. It's
bud.
my dad bud.
So my dad bud Kale, that I've known since 7th grade,
Yeah.
because I got his locker that he had in 7th grade. He went to
Okay.
8th, and then the first day of school came over and said, "Well, I just want to see the sad sap that got my shitty locker," and it was me. And then, you know, here's the So
There you go,
he's
from there.
Yeah, so he'll be here. Anyway, we'll talk about. We got shit to talk about.
Oh, yeah,
man.
we
I'm
got
sorry.
all
We
kinds
got
of shit.
we got shit to talk about.
So anyway, let me go back to Save the Day real quick. So I saw them for the very first time, Warped Tour 2000. And it was all the original members.
Oh.
They had just gotten in that car wreck, and the original guitar player, he had lost all of his front teeth.
Yes.
And he wouldn't face the crowd. And then Chris was like, hey, show him your teeth. And he turned around and he smiled, and it was just all gums.
Remember that?
Because they didn't have the money to fix it. And that to me, like, I loved that lineup. Now it's just like Chris Conley and the boys.
It is.
you know?
Yeah, he left.
The boys
just
are
a few
tight,
years
though.
ago.
His boys
They
are
are
tight.
tight.
They're
Oh, they
real
are
good.
tight. Good dudes.
AF.
Good dudes.
Tight AF.
Yeah.
I actually sent a bunch of pedals to Arun from Keeley, and he was like so grateful. He was like
No.
shouting us out on Instagram and shit.
What?
Yeah, it was amazing. He
Isn't
was
it the
so
best?
dude. It's wonderful. But I saw him back then, and I was there was speaking of moments. There was this moment. It was in the middle of the day in Dallas at Warped Tour. I'm like 18 or so.
Dude, hot as balls.
Yeah, and there's this girl up front, and she takes her top off, and she's
Okay.
like showing Chris her boobs, and Chris stopped the song, and he goes, honey, you don't have to do that, and he pulled her up on stage, and she sat right next to him for the entire set.
Did she put her shirt back on?
Yeah,
That's-
He made her. He was like, put it on. He was like, come up here. And he pulled her up on the stage, and the security was like, no. And he was like, no, fuck you. Like, brought her up and just like made
Conley's
her
the
like
man.
life. Yeah, man. And then fast forward, we saw him on, I forget what album was it? The self-titled album?
Yeah.
The one with like the grapefruit on the
Yeah,
cover?
that
Okay,
one.
yeah, great.
Yeah, but we're sitting at the top. I guess it's in trees in Dallas, so that top little area you can kind of sit at.
There's like a shoe, like a horseshoe balcony.
Yeah,
that
we're
goes
sitting
all
there
the way
just holding PBR tall boys and arms around each other, like just singing along, like yeah,
and
just 'cause-
crying and
yeah,
crying.
Of course,
Yeah,
We're
amazing.
we're sensitive men these
Oh,
days,
you know,
you
but-
know?
I'll say this though. Then I saw him a few years later. Actually, they were on this last Coheed and Cambria tour.
Oh yeah, I missed that one.
Okay, but man, it was weird. And not to talk shit on them because I do love the band. They're one of my favorites of all time. But their set was so dark and weird.
Yep.
They jammed.
Did they?
Like they
That
went
makes
full
sense.
dad. They went full dad. Like they only played like 4 songs, and they played these long, drawn out, weird, like syrupy jams in between. It was
like
cool.
ambient,
Sounds
like
crazy.
pedal fucking
Lots
with,
of pedal
pedal
twiddling.
turning.
But and it was cool. Like as a fan of the band, I was like, dude, they can do what they want, and I loved it. But I heard a lot of people like, what the fuck were they doing? But
Yeah.
I thought it was cool. I was like,
Yeah.
you can't be a
Right.
punk rock band forever.
Well, there's a lot of people that
you know?
went to that show specifically just to see Saves the Day and not really see Coheed.
That's interesting.
Oddly enough, like it was so weird to see the sea change of the crowd, because when Saves the Day played, a lot of people that look a lot like us were up front. And then as soon as Coheed played, all those people left, and it was just like the Monster Energy dudes, you know, like rocking out to some Coheed.
Dude, we saw Coheed with Under Oath at the Beaumont Club in Kansas City. It like when things just started getting going for them, like second stage turbine. Yeah. I mean, you know, and just to see the morph of like geekdom that has happened.
Yeah.
And it's cool, and I'm not hating on it.
Yeah, they're great.
But I mean, he's an incredible dude. But it's interesting to see that. I love that at shows when you see things come and go. And but
waves.
The best part is when it's like stacked lineup, and everyone doesn't want to give their spot, and it's like you're on the rail. Nobody's going to touch you.
I'm going to a stacked lineup show next weekend.
Oh, are you?
No,
we're going to talk about pop punk, Josh.
It's just two.
Can we talk about it?
Yeah, go for it.
I'm going to MXPX and Slick Shoes are playing in Dallas next weekend, so
yeah, it's
a 2-night show, so I'm going to both nights.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
Because I feel I'm 19 and I think that pop punk is still cool.
It's at Trees, right?
Pop punk it's at Trees, yeah.
I love that venue. Have you been to Trees?
I'm going. I love that venue.
Have you been to Trees?
I've not been to Trees. I've never been to a show in Dallas ever.
Okay,
dude.
So I went to
I'm a
Trees.
Kansas guy.
The Saves the Day show was the first show that I saw at Trees. I mean, I was like 34, you know, and by far the best venue I've ever been to.
No way.
It's incredible.
All right, good.
The sound is amazing.
Yeah, the setup there is crazy.
And maybe I'll ride my bike there.
Ride your bike. Yeah, ride your bike all the way down.
And I'll go with you. It'll be my first bike ride.
Perfect.
And we'll just
do 300-mile rides.
Yeah,
from
wonderful.
Stillwater. Perfect.
Yeah, I'll
stop
have to be
every
like
100.
carried back for sure.
Yeah, we have
God.
camelbacks. You'll be fine.
Yeah.
Awesome. So yeah. So bike shop. Let's go back to the shop.
So I don't even know where to pick up from here, honestly. What we did, we literally had no money. I mean, we had like $5,000 to our name after we sold everything we could possibly sell. Sold my other really good friend our car, and then picked up a new Volkswagen Golf with no payments for 3 months and like 0 interest or something crazy.
So you're buying yourself a little time.
So
a little window.
Like we can't afford this car at all, but we can't afford to move without selling this car to have cash to get to Stillwater. I mean, people don't know this part of the story. I mean, I was never stressed about the money part of it so much. It was way more stress on like our image and our brand. And not image as in like a fake one, but like who are we?
Right.
What story are we telling? How are we going to serve this community with the best possible customer service and like community oriented events? So anyway, it's Friday, right? We did start drinking a little bit early, but since we've been in the old shop, I can't remember the date of it, but we decided to do a Friday social, BYOB. Once we got down here and we got open, we got things rolling. We had Austin, our first employee, and so I went and bought like a huge 30-pack. At the time, I thought, oh yeah, let's get a huge 30-pack PBR. This would be a really good idea.
That's like the bread and the fishes back then.
Yeah.
It's like, everyone will drink all night.
I've got a 10, I've got a 20. I think I can make this happen.
Yeah, totally.
So then we told everybody, like, come to the shop, BYOB, and we didn't know if it was legal. I printed a little sign that said, must be 21 to drink, and put it like on the cooler.
Because that's legally binding, right?
Yeah.
I thought
Your
it was
Honor,
legit.
Exhibit A, this is a Post-it note that I stuck clearly on the cooler.
Yeah, I didn't even write in cursive. Like, this has got to be legit.
Everybody showed up, and I mean, we had 20-ish people there, and now every single Friday we've done it without hesitation, unless it was some holiday or something like that. We don't advertise it anymore. We don't have to. And tonight, if you guys do stick around long enough, at about 5 o'clock tonight, there'll be 25, 30, sometimes there's 40 people here.
Dang.
Awesome.
And we don't care about selling stuff. It's not about that at all. It is literally about connectedness and about community. So District's a synonym for community. That's why we picked the name.
Yeah.
And we wanted to really give people a place to call their own, to gather, to come up with ideas, to encourage others. That wasn't a typical... Like, we're worried about racing bike shop.
Right.
Like, we honestly don't give a fuck.
Where it's just
about
like, the bike shop you go into where it's just like rows and rows of aisles of just racing bikes and then a counter at the back and the guy just being like a dick the whole time.
I hate that vision. And so many people feel that way, or they feel not a part of the crew because they don't have, tattoos or a beard or...
No, this spot, when I walked in, it felt like a... I don't want to say... Okay, like the way I felt when I went to an Urban Outfitters the first time when I was like 18, 19. Like,
you're kind of like in awe of
this is
the vibe.
Everything's kind of open. The fucking original brick is cool as shit. You have like a couch lounge area in the front. Like it seems like a really comfortable place to where you can... come in and just look at bikes.
Yeah.
You don't have to like feel like I gotta spend like $600 in here. They're gonna be mad at me.
Right.
Exactly.
Yeah.
No, we don't care if you spend a dime.
That's what it feels like in here. It's really cool.
Yeah, and we've got the garage door out front. Crystal, when we decided to move from the old shop from 712 South Main over here to 120 West 7th, our landlords bought this building.
Mm-hmm.
This is a crazy story, too. Everything's a crazy story with me. I'm a communication major. I don't know if you can tell or not.
Oh, I can tell.
Basically,
it's great.
that means like I wanted to be working for NPR and I couldn't find a job.
Yeah.
So-
That's why we do this.
Yeah.
Like that's my dream was to be a radio host. And it's like, well, but nowadays we can just do this and it scratches the itch and it's better because I get to have my fun job that I have and then I get to do this with my best friend.
There's not like a corporate fat cat telling you what to say and what not to say.
Yeah, lighting a cigar
I can't say
with $100
AF on the radio.
Right. Yeah, I can say whatever the fuck I want on there. It's my fucking show. It's our show.
Yeah.
And we don't have to bleep anything out.
No, we do not.
Don't have
We
to.
don't even edit.
We really don't.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
I could tell. I was hoping that was the case. I obviously love the music coming in and out. Your guys' stuff is the shit. Anyway,
Thanks, man.
it's great.
That's all we really do edit is music and
we just like punch in the intro, outro, and then like a break song.
So cool.
And every once in a while we'll put a stupid sample in or something.
Boys, I'm back and I'm horny.
But we really try to not edit.
Boys, I'm back and I'm horny.
I like it to be natural, just as
Raw.
it comes, yeah.
And you're on Stitcher. I didn't know that's cool. Stitcher is awesome. We use that,
Hell yeah.
Radiolab. I listen to Radiolab and all those.
See, Rob, I'm not the only dad who listens to Stitcher.
I know. I always give him
Hey,
shit
man.
for Stitcher.
Once I get into something, once it's what I use, that's what I'm fucking using.
Done.
Yeah.
Like I had an iPhone 4 for like 5 years too long to have an iPhone 4, but it worked until I drunkenly smashed it.
Right.
Then I had to get a new one.
And then you went big.
And then I was
got
trying
the Mega.
I was trying to one up you.
He was.
And then so I showed it to you and you go, that's too big. I'm like, God damn it. Like I went too big.
You did. You flew a little too close to the sun.
Icarus flew a little too close.
No, it's interesting, man. Like about the social gatherings, like, and this might sound kind of generic, but it's so true. So maybe that's why it's generic.
Mm-hmm.
But
Right.
it's like to give back to people and promote a fun environment without worrying about like selling and meeting a quota. It's like, and that's the thing. And not to sit here and like blow you. I mean, I am sitting in your shop interviewing you, but
and you are about to blow.
Yes,
him.
I am.
There is that.
The pants are unzipped. It's because I'm getting anyway.
But no, it's like you come in and like,
happening.
I didn't feel like nobody knew who we were. I mean, we're not famous. Like nobody knew who we were. We walked in. Nobody tried to like sell us anything right off the bat. It was just like,
someone literally put a beer in my hand first thing. Like, hey, you want a beer? I'm like, yeah, I'll take a beer. Why not?
But it's funny you said the thing about Urban Outfitters because I've been thinking about that recently.
I got a story about that. Go ahead.
Okay, yeah. But it's like when I was young and like we'd go down to Dallas.
Oh, yeah.
To like get away, to go to a good record shop before there was good ones in Oklahoma or good clothing or whatever. And to walk into a place like Urban Outfitters or Good Records or even like venues down there.
Coming from Choctaw, Oklahoma, it's like.
But now that we're older and that's kind of like Oklahoma City's hip.
Like,
hip-ish, we're getting there. But it's like, it's funny, you walk into a place and like, you're just kind of like disillusioned and jaded. But like I said, when I walked in here, I was like, damn, I had that exact feeling like that. This place is fucking cool. Like I almost feel like I'm not in Stillwater, if that makes sense.
People tell us that once a week.
Yeah, and I don't mean that as a knock to your city.
Never get tired of hearing that. So,
not as a knock to your city. But
no, not at all. No. Well, everybody in Stillwater hates you guys now. It's fine.
Get those boys out of here.
Hey, you know what? They'll be gone in 4 years. Am I right? College students.
That's right. Yeah,
come and go.
Right. That's right. So we used Urban Outfitters as a basis for like, we want our shop to feel this clean.
Yeah.
We want our merchandising to be this inviting, and we definitely aren't going to wear the same clothes that maybe all their employees wear or whatever, but we're going to do some things that feel industrial,
you
but
don't
new.
Want to wear super skinny jeans with holes in them already.
They're skinny enough.
Hey,
my
pants are.
I got some
slim,
Levi's.
I wear some slim britches.
Yeah, man, your britches look damn fine.
Thanks, though. These are. Well, it doesn't matter what they are.
Let's not give them
too much credit.
Walmart.
No, these are actually Empires. Thank you.
Oh, fancy.
Got these at the Zoomies. Shout out to Zoomies.
Yeah, our newest sponsor.
Our newest sponsor, because I'm 35.
And Urban Outfitters.
Fuck them. They don't sell bicycles.
They don't sell bicycles. They sell skateboards, though. Did you ever think about that? Opening a skate shop?
So the shop in Emporia High Gear was half bikes. Well, no. Was 99% bikes, and then we had a skate shop too.
Like a literal small corner.
Yeah. And I mean, it was pretty dedicated. We had decks, and we had everything, and trucks and stuff, and bearings. And dude, I got totally badass at grip taping.
I worked at a skate shop for years. I say skate shop. It was in the mall.
It was the only skate shop we had.
It was. We had it. We had a deck counter. We had wheels, bearings, bushings, risers, everything you want. All the brands. Had a huge wall of decks. Sold a lot of shoes. Also sold clothing and stuff. But man, I loved gripping boards. In fact, on like holiday rushes, that's what I did. I was a manager there, and I was still like, I'm gripping all the boards
because they'll fuck it up, and you gotta do it.
Yeah.
Everybody
I was
wanted
cutting
me to do
designs in the grip tape and doing like stencils, and like we had like all different colors, and I was doing like mosaics and stuff. And I would like, okay, I think the statute of limitation has run out. I would totally like pocket tips all day.
Awesome.
So at the end of the night, it was like, cool, I get a huge bottle of whatever liquor I want for free because I did this beautiful art on these boards all day.
And you gave someone a custom deck.
Oh yeah, all the time, all the time. I loved gripping. It was like therapeutic to me, man.
It's incredibly
something
therapeutic.
about it. Yeah,
I love it. It's just the same way as working on bikes. Like
do
when
you skate?
Something gets, so I don't skate.
Me neither.
I
love the aesthetic of doing it all. Yeah.
And I don't skate, and that's why I'm like, I can't do a shop because I'll be total poser. Total.
Let me ask you this: when you worked there, did you have a badass board though?
No,
see, I did.
I knew that I would break myself. I was like, I will die. I will die.
I had like this amazing setup. I mean, like the tensor trucks and the lucky bearings bone red bearings and the custom grip tape and this beautiful zero deck that I just loved.
And without a scratch on it.
The board had never slid. I don't even think the wheels ever left the ground.
No.
And guess what?
They still had that smell on them.
It still had the nubbies on it like a bike tire. Yeah. And it made a beautiful corner decoration, almost like some people put like a surfboard or something.
Or if you're gonna go on a date, you throw the dirt in the back seat and like, where's the skateboard? Yeah, me and my friends are gonna go skating. Whatever.
If the date's going bad, it's like, babe, I gotta drop you off. I gotta go cruise the pipe.
Got to meet the guys.
That's a gay thing.
Got to meet the guys at the Mathis Brothers skate park.
She's like, yeah, Rob was nice. I think he might be gay. He keeps talking about cruising the pipe. Cruising the pipe.
And he skates. I don't know what that's about.
Yeah, weird. He's too old. But no, I had some friends that skated, and we'd go downtown Oklahoma City, and I would push around, and that was the furthest I could go. Totally. But I was the biggest poser, dude. Awesome. Like I couldn't even ollie. So good, right? I couldn't ollie. I couldn't turn.
Here's the thing, though. We were
lifting the front end and turn. No, it's horrible.
We were in bands, though. That was our thing. Like,
okay.
I can't. If I break my arm, I can't play guitar, bass, or drums, or whatever.
We were skaters in a band.
There it is.
Yeah.
Full circle.
Yes. Yeah, exactly.
What band were you guys in?
So we were in many. I don't think we've ever been in an official band together.
No.
We've jammed
made a lot of music together, though. We've never really been in a band.
Yeah. We make a lot of our bumpers and stuff together, too.
I think it works. The podcast works because it's creative, but I mean, it would be like oil and vinegar, my friend.
It is. Josh is a pop punker. I'm a weirdo hippie.
He's a weirdo.
Awesome.
So it's like that's why we do this well together, because we have this nice separate pool.
But we're both super fucking funny. That's why this works.
Oh, yeah.
And we're also real humble.
So we think. Yeah.
And incribly sexy. And your voices are just, they're butter. Right? Everybody that's listening? Right?
Yeah. It's from all that pipe grinding. But yeah, I never skated. I tried, and eventually I gave my board. I actually gave my skateboard. Crazy. I was driving home from my job after the skate shop, and my board was in the back of my truck, and I saw some kids skating, and I got out, and I was
That's
probably
liberating.
It was, but I got out and I had my board like Steve Buscemi and that.
Hey, fellow kids.
Yeah. But I walked up and I know they were probably like, what the fuck is this dad doing here? Like he's trolling, like he's looking for a boy to diddle or something. But no, I was like, hey guys, I don't need this. And I just handed it to this kid and he was like,
Dude.
This, keep in mind, a brand new skateboard. Yeah. It probably had about 500 feet on it.
Yeah. But you had it for like a year and a half.
Yeah. And these kids were just like, are you kidding me? And it made me happy to make them so happy.
So good.
And they didn't need it. They all had boards, but I was like, fuck it, I'm going to pay it forward. And got rid of that fucking skateboard finally.
No, they got that albatross off your back. Like, enough. Stop asking me to go to the skate park. I don't skate.
Yep, totally. It's like, no, I don't have a board. So
I don't have a board. Sorry, I got rid of it.
I did. When I was a kid, though, I raced BMX, and this was back in like the GT and Dyno Mongoose days, before Mongoose was sold at like Walmart. And I did some
red line.
I did some racing. I raced motocross. So like I've always loved bikes. I've got 3 bikes now. I'm not like a hardcore rider, but I've got a mountain bike, like a cruiser, and a street bike.
Road bike.
Road bike.
Yeah, drop bars and all that.
Yeah. It's a Univega, and it's from the 70s.
Oh, that's perfect.
Man, it's like mint green.
You wear spandex whenever you get
on? No. I should. I do wear a tape Walkman though.
You do.
I will now.
Oh yeah. Let's
find one.
He busted this out on the podcast last night.
Yeah.
He bought a Sony Walkman. It looks like fresh off the shelf
dude.
circa 1993.
Like I just opened the blister pack and pulled that bitch out. I was hanging out late, like about a week ago, and I went down this rabbit hole, and I bought the exact tape Walkman that I had when I was a kid on eBay.
Way.
Then I took it a step further, and I bought the exact Discman I had when I was a kid.
Dude, I had 2 Discmans.
Do you remember how serious that was back then?
Oh yeah.
I had Dark Side of the Moon. When I got into Dark Side of the Moon, I was really into Dire Straits and Mark Knopfler and Money for Nothing, all that stuff. Salt in the Swing. But dude, when I got that, I had that my second Discman. That Dark Side of the Moon record took me places.
It's like, is it possible to wear out a CD? Because I think I did. Yeah, maybe. I don't know.
I mean, if you masturbate with it, you could probably wear it.
Or if you put it in that
That might be not.
Grind your pipe with it.
If you don't keep it in the flip book thing, if you just leave it tossed willy-nilly roundabout in your car and it gets the scratches, that happens.
It's rubbing up against your skateboard. It's ruined.
Do you remember you guys remember the CD fixer?
Oh yeah.
You
It was like,
those?
and it was like, you put it in. I worked at a warehouse music for like 5 years. But yeah, it was a little thing you spin it around.
You spray the shit on it, and
we actually had like an industrial machine in the back that we put it on, and like you flip it. It looked like something like that, and you flip this thing down, and it's like. And it like gets all
the real deal.
The real deal.
Like a resurfacer.
We also had a shrink wrap machine that I used to my advantage several times.
Yes, he did. He sold things as new.
Mm-hmm. It's brand new.
He shrink wrapped my skateboard at one time. It was amazing. That's all right.
Brand new.
Yeah, the Walkman thing though, man. Like I last night I got home from the podcast. We did a really fun episode with this like hip hop group from Oklahoma City.
Oh, sick!
And dude, they were so stoked to be on. Like it was. We had a great time. And I got home last night and had a few anthems.
Yep,
Ubered home.
Just had one.
And
Ride or Die. Just had one.
Fitting, perfectly fitting.
It's delicious.
But got home and I put on my Walkman. My wife went to bed. She's not feeling well right now, but she went to bed early.
She feels better.
She's just got like the funk that's going around. But I'm up late. And I put my Walkman on, and I also bought a few cassettes that I had when I was young, and it was the first Bone Thugs and Harmony tape, Creeping on the Come Up.
Oh yeah.
And I put that on last night, and I was listening to it because I was testing this Walkman out because I just got it. And man, the warble of the tape and the quality of the sound, and I was even wearing like kind of older headphones, not like
the
these
foamies,
nice ones.
the little foamies,
like the Koss ones I have. Yeah, they have not the little but
the TGNY special.
The quality of everything, it was like this perfect storm, and I seriously felt this wave of nostalgia. And we talk about nostalgia a lot.
Nostalgia's a thing.
It took me back, man. I sat there and listened to the entire side of that tape before I went to bed. It was wonderful. Wonderful.
That's
awesome.
You're making me wanting to get on eBay.
Dude, I'm telling you.
Now.
It's a small investment. I think it was like $10.
Done. We can do this.
Yeah.
Well, there was a cassette inside of it.
There was a Memorex, like an old Memorex with like the 90s colors all over it. And it was in pencil written on the label was The Black Crows. And this is like a legit old tape that somebody dubbed. And it sounded like shit.
No, when I pulled that out of the cassette, like I looked at it, I was like, that has to be a boy's sticker. Like,
yes.
Because it's the clear Memorex, like the Saved by the Bell kind of triangles and shit all over
wavy
it.
little bean-shaped objects.
And then just the white strip, and it's just say boys.
It could just say boys in like handwriting.
Yeah.
Coming soon. We got all these merch ideas. We just need money.
We'll put them all over the bike shop.
Hell yeah.
Well, speaking of business ideas and trying to do bigger things and do more things, that's really as far, it's not as far as we can go with the podcast, but,
Oh, this is just the beginning, my friend.
This is the valley. We're going to climb Everest with it. Hopefully. So where would you say that you are? I mean, you guys have been open 5 years now.
Yeah, we've been open 5 years.
So what else do you want to do with it? I mean, you mentioned something about a thing you might be doing?
Events, perhaps?
Yes. Let's do this. This is natural, right? We're just talking. We're just boys talking.
That's right. That's what we do.
Before we got here and opened the shop, I'd already decided, hey, I want to do this. I want to do a 100-mile gravel race.
Mm-hmm.
We're really involved with the Dirty Kansas 200. The Dirty Kansas is in Emporia.
Mm-hmm.
It is the world's premier gravel ride.
Now, what is that exactly?
So it is 200 miles of gravel in one day race. I've finished it 3 times.
Sounds dangerous.
It is dangerous.
It sounds hard.
It's really hard.
Yeah.
It's hard
skinned
It's
elbows.
hard AF.
Yes.
It's hard AF.
Yes.
That tandem that's on the wall is actually a prototype from Salsa. Crystal and I are really good friends with everyone at Salsa out of Minneapolis, and they sent us that's a prototype. They finally did a production version 2 years later, but we did Dirty Kansas 200 on that bike.
Oh, really?
15 hours and 47 minutes together, which is actually my best time finishing out of my other 2 solo times. Anyway, that race goes out into the Flint Hills of Kansas. If you've ever driven I-35 from Wichita to Emporia to Kansas. You
Mm-hmm.
go through the Flint Hills.
Yeah.
Right.
That whole race is out there on, county roads, private land, you name it, nasty, ridiculous shit. And I was like, hey, this is going on. It was 2011, so it was like their 5th or 6th year. They were starting to get almost to 1,000 riders.
Mm-hmm.
Said there's nothing in Oklahoma where we're going. Nothing at all. Not one gravel race, and almost nothing in Texas. And I knew that there were tons of people from Texas coming up to do DK.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, if we can put something together in Stillwater after we get there and put a race together in a route and it's worthy, I was like, I'll put it out there, see what happens. Got here, rode some of the roads, and dude, my jaw just dropped. Getting closer to the Cimarron River, all the red dirt roads. I mean, it's like nothing else I've ridden anywhere.
Yeah.
Since we've been here, I've gotten to ride in a lot of places, and we can talk about that later too. But when we got here, I hadn't ridden in a lot of places, so I was like, man, am I just excited? Because I'm a pretty excited dude most of the time, if you haven't noticed. And I was like, so I need to ask around. So I brought some people over from Emporia, and they were just like, dude, and they're not a part of Dirty Kansas, but just some friends from Kansas. And they were like, dude, this is the shit. And so I mapped on Google Maps a 100-mile route, and this was in 2012, so we'd been open about a year. And I mapped it from here to Kearney, Oklahoma, which is, Kearney's down south of Perkins, just a tiny little town. And then from Kearney back in Stillwater is 107 miles. Finally went and rode the course, and it kicked my ass, kicked everyone's ass.
Yeah.
And I was like, all right, shit, this is it. We're going to do this. What should we call it? I don't know what we should call it. I was like, taking a shower, thinking about it. And we were still in our 1-bedroom apartment. And I was like, all anyone can ever talk about Stillwater and all of these, the red dirt and all these other things is the land run, the land run of 1889 and all this history. And I'm not a history buff. I don't know anything about it. But I was like, man, what was here before all this development? What was here before all of these paved roads?
Yeah.
Nothing, right? And then, like, what made it all happen? And what could this place have looked like back then, on these roads? It would have looked like it would have in the land run, maybe. And that's what it made me think of. So I was like, well, dude, I know people use that name for all sorts of stuff, but to me, this tells the story. Land run 100. We're going to do 100 miles of gravel.
And it goes with Oklahoma, like, real well. Like, kind of a really good fit.
I think so, too. And I'm a Kansas boy. I'm, like, Kansas born and bred, so Get Up Kids and New Amsterdam's and like everybody from the Lawrence, Kansas area and that whole music scene. I grew up there playing at the Bottleneck.
Reggie, the Anniversary.
Everybody.
Yeah, all those.
Hot Rod Circuit. Like those guys were all there. Everybody was a part of it. And so I've always had this feeling that I would have some sort of connection to that world in Kansas. But that hasn't happened. It's happened here. Like we've been placed here. We decided to be here. So I'm going to take all that love and all of that passion that I have for like, the Sunflower State, and I'm going to try and make that same feeling here in Oklahoma, even though I'm not a native from this town. Or, native shit. I probably shouldn't have said that, but you know what I mean. So,
native to the state.
Right. Not an actual person that was born and raised here. So that's the type of vibe I want to give to the event that we had. So put it out there. The guys at Dirty Kansas helped us do, there's our air compressor, helped us do a bunch of marketing to get the word out to riders that were on their rider list. And that first year we had registration open for 5 months, 6 months. We had 121 riders. So that was 2013.
Now, would you say that that's like a pretty good turnout for the first time?
For a first race, that's pretty great.
Yeah.
Think about if you have a show and you've never played a show before and 120 people show up.
Yeah, that's pretty good. That's pretty good. Yeah.
I mean, that's like 1/100th of our listeners. So I know the feeling. Okay.
So then, year one goes off. The rain came at mile 80 for almost for everyone that was doing the race except for 15 people, and so those 90 some people got hammered with rain and just started breaking bikes. The red dirt was just relentless, and so that was like a thing that we could kind of market, like, hey, these roads are insane. So then year two comes, and I'm like on my knees, like, please, like, don't let it be dry. And sure enough, we had this huge rainstorm come. We had a 100% chance of rain the whole day. Year two, splits Stillwater, Oklahoma City, Tulsa get hammered with rain. Our whole course stays dry. So year two, 5 months of registration again, left it fully open, 283 riders.
Damn.
Nice. That's good growth right there.
Yeah.
We over doubled. So then year three, 2015, we capped it at 500, and we sold out in 2.5 weeks.
Damn. So you're doing something right, obviously.
Yeah. So we sold out. Everyone gets here. The night before, pours down rain. everybody that had helped with the race, Jim Brewer, our buddy Kevin Ehlers. This is the first time we ever had this fully private land crossing that took everyone down into this creek, like down a cattle path. I mean, single track, down into a cattle path in the bottom of the creek. And the only way to get them out was to build a staircase. So we built a 21 staircase to get them out of the creek bed.
Damn.
The road to get there and the road to get out of there was insane. Impassable. Vehicles couldn't get down there except a Jeep. So we had the Red Dirt Jeep Club there. And we had 7 miles of hike-a-bike, walking, carrying your bike.
Whoa.
In the first 30 miles of the race.
Dang.
So 500 people signed up from all over, and our attrition rate was like, I think we had 24% finish.
Wow.
Out of that group.
So that's
up.
Hardcore. Like this isn't a stroll around the
No,
lake
no,
or something like that.
It's not going around the neighborhood. It's
So people at that time were like, some people were pissed. They were like, I can't believe you put us through this shit. Like, I can't believe it. And some people were pissed. And other people were like, no, this is land run. Like, this is the definitive moment of what can happen on these roads. And the fact that they made the decision as a group, like myself and my wife and like everybody made the choice to not do a reroute was like a massive statement. Yeah. And so then we got some pretty national coverage off of that. Like some people really checked it out. I mean, we had huge coverage on our photography we put out. And so last year, 2016, we opened registration. We always open registration in November. We opened it up to 750 for 2016, and we sold out in 25 hours.
That's incredible.
21 states in Canada.
Jeez.
And Salsa came on board as a massive sponsor. Kuwat Racks out of Springfield, Missouri. That's an awesome group of really good dudes. They were here. Iron Monk, for the first time, Iron Monk Brewery here in Stillwater, which is a block from the bike shop. We're drinking Iron Monk Stilly Wheat right now.
Yes, we are.
After we finished our Anthem, Ride or Die. And
which is delicious, by the way.
all of this is delicious.
Really good. The Iron Monk is awesome.
Dave and Jared from Iron Monk got with me. We did growlers with Land Run logo, district logo, and we did a Land Run 100 IPA. I helped them buy like 80 kegs that they didn't have because we were having this huge party Friday night before the ride. We did a writers meeting at Iron Monk. And so, I helped them buy the kegs. They filled the kegs with beer for free, and everybody had a great time. So then we had perfect road conditions this year, or last year, I guess, 2016. Perfect the day before. 11 o'clock at night, I'm walking around downtown. We're shutting down the writers meeting that we had. We're shutting down. We had live music last year again on Friday night. And we're just getting everything, kind of wind down. Everyone's bringing badass whiskey. Everybody's just, we're not hammered, but
having a good time.
Yeah.
You're partying.
Yeah.
Partying a little bit.
We were dad partying.
Letting loose.
Yeah. And that's the funny thing. Like, as you get older, you party, but in the back of your mind, you maintain. That's the magic word.
Yeah.
Maintain.
There's a 6 a.m. thing that's going to happen the next morning.
Yeah.
You're going to wake up. You're not going to be able to fall back asleep.
You're going to have to carry or ride your bike for fucking
100 miles.
Don't get too fucked up.
Yeah. So we had 750 people from 21 states in Canada.
Yep.
Everyone's stoked. The course is perfect. 11 o'clock at night, just the most steady, beautiful, calming fucking rain. And
now, are we talking like heavy storm or just like a constant?
Just a little constant rain.
Just constant.
Okay.
Not a drizzle, not windy, just
a shower.
This is a shower.
Yeah.
I'm in a shower. There's really nice tile. There's nice shampoo I've never tried before. And this rain's coming down from somewhere. It's right above me. It's a rain head.
Okay.
At a hotel that you didn't have to pay for. And so I'm outside.
On the company dime.
On the company dime.
The company. Oh shit, company dime. So we're getting there.
Kids.
Okay,
we're getting there. We're getting there. Get up, kids. This is why you listen to this podcast, because we're going to see you in Stillwater. And there's a reason why. We'll tell you that in a minute, listeners. So I'm like, fuck, it's raining. This is it. It's going to happen. Like, shit's going to go down. And it rained for an hour. On the nose. At midnight, it was done. Next morning, I was like, I'm not going to go check the roads. I know what's going to happen. Sent off everybody. I got the cannon from Boone Pickens Stadium from OSU. The ROTC brought the cannon that they shoot when they score a touchdown at the game.
That's fucking awesome.
That is rad.
It does not leave the stadium, and I got to shoot it to start the race last year. We're doing that again this year.
How'd that make you feel?
Oh, like a fucking badass.
Like, that's like that's a thing that like hundreds of thousands of kids have dreamed of, is shooting that cannon.
And I did it.
Yeah.
I'm doing it again.
Like, hey, motherfuckers, I'm not even from here. I'm going to burn the shit
I know.
You get to do it twice.
Yeah.
And you're not even a native.
I know.
Either or.
Also, I've got 3 requests in. This is all. Actually, no, I can't say that on this. I'm gonna say it anyway. Nobody knows this. Oh man, I don't know if I should. I'm gonna say it.
Okay, before you say it,
Okay.
let's take a quick break.
Sure.
We'll be back.
Yeah, we'll come back. Welcome back.
Boys Podcast, episode 43. We are here at District Bicycles with Bobby Wintle. And the website, I forgot to plug it at the beginning, districtbicycles.com.
It's
that easy.
It's super simple. On Instagram, at District Bicycles. Wonderful, wonderful stuff.
We nailed it. We got it first.
Yeah,
That's good.
So let's go back to what we're talking about, these events, man.
Absolutely. So, so the thing that I was going to hang on, that I'm gonna go ahead and put out there, that it might not actually happen, but this is the idea of doing
A
something.
possibility. Yeah, doing something bigger, right?
So doing things that you just don't think are possible.
Right.
I've got 3 requests into 3 different very important people for potentially a flyover or flyby before the start line of Land Run. And so potentially we always start at 8 a.m. on the nose. Like I watch, and we have a countdown and we do it at 8 a.m. So if we get this flyby with either Vance Air Force Base people or this other group out of Frederick, Oklahoma that's got an old DC-30 that they do stuff with all the time. I just burped, excuse me. And so the idea is that we would get a massive flyby at 7:59, and then I would pull the cannon, and then we started.
But you can't. That's amazing.
That
But
would
hey,
be dope.
don't point the cannon at the flyby.
Right.
Yeah, don't do that.
Because that could be disaster.
It is empty. It is a blank, but it's loud as fuck.
Yeah,
It's
I
loud.
bet, dude.
Yeah, it's so good.
That's incredible. That's like what football games
That's
do.
we
That's
are
like
better than
huge.
football.
Yeah.
So the whole idea of this, the thing that makes me so passionate about the cycling portion of this and doing an event instead of just keeping people, going on rides, but the huge thing for me behind Land Run is that just exactly what you said. You go to a football game, you get wowed. You're in the stands, you're buying nachos, you're sitting on your ass, you're cheering on.
You're drinking overpriced beer for
everybody else.
Yeah.
You're
cheering
are
on
not,
teenagers on a field.
There's
you
no
are not
participation.
the main event.
Yeah.
There is nothing about it that's transcending for you, the person sitting in the bleacher, unless it's an epic win and you feel connected and you feel a part of it. No, Land Run, you're doing it. We're going to celebrate the fact that you finished. So the finish line, we shut down the street. We have a huge corridor. We've got these big like scaffolding things we build up and wrap with banners, and we have a huge finish line. Iron Monk's gonna can our beer for us this year, pale ale. So we're gonna do a Land Run pale ale. What, six packs, 12-ounce cans. Can't believe we're gonna have a can with our logo on it.
That's amazing.
And with
That
our
is
own
awesome.
beer in it.
Yeah.
Limited release this year, so we'll just do it for like 4 or 5 months. We're even going to be able to sell it, and it's crazy. Not us, but it'll be in liquor stores in Oklahoma.
That's
Yeah,
awesome.
that is awesome.
Totally rad.
Hey, Anthem, if you're listening, we still want to do that boys beer. We
Yes,
thought about putting
boys
our
beer.
logo on a beer.
I would drink that beer.
And, but like, is that a legality thing? Can a beer say the word boys on it?
Oh, man.
You know what I mean? It's
I
kind of,
don't know.
yeah, it's a little gray area.
Well, what we do is we do the logo, and then where it says boys, just leave it blank. So
or
it
no, it
doesn't
just
say
says
anything.
beer in our font.
There you go.
Yeah. Okay. Anyways.
So what happened in the year one when we were janky and small and it just only had like the parking spots blocked off to have people finish and stuff? And anyway, the first year, I was just so pumped for all my friends. Like I knew probably half the participants just from being in the cycling industry for a while, and I was so stoked. I gave everybody a hug when they finished. So it's completely become a thing, and I've hugged every finisher for the last 4 years straight. And so this year we opened up registration November 19th, 7 a.m. Or actually, we did 8 a.m. We did 8 a.m. this year, and we sold out with 1,000 riders and 100 runners. We've added a 50K ultra marathon run. We sold out in 2 hours and 50 minutes.
Jeez, man.
Yeah.
This is insane.
Dude, just
This is my
going
full-time
bigger
job.
and
Can I
bigger
just
and
like
bigger.
rub your shoulder and get a little bit
Yeah,
of that?
give
Because
some of
boys
that.
needs a little help.
I know.
Yeah.
Let's
Little,
do it.
Yeah.
I want to help.
Yeah. We'll be at the finish line, live broadcasting.
Dude, please.
drinking-
I'm not
drinking
kidding.
your- drinking the pale ale.
Yeah, just getting drunk.
Good job, guys.
They're bringing in pallets to
Yeah.
set at the finish, and then we're just going to grab 6-packs and put them in coolers and have them ready for the finish.
That's
So we'll
amazing.
have a
Heck yeah.
pallet, and we're just going to watch it like
Again, it's
get
giving
smaller.
back, man.
We have
It's
to give
giving
back.
Yeah.
We're gonna have food trucks. We do the whole deal. So this year, for the first time, we're shutting down. This is the whole reason of this podcast. Which actually, Rob and Josh didn't know that when Ray reached out to me, our good friend Ray,
big shout out to Ray.
Yeah, Chris Trammell. He's
much appreciated.
I got a hold of Chris and I was like, "You're not gonna believe this shit," but I woke up this morning. I've been thinking about Land Run and the writers' meeting that happens on Friday night. Before, I always do like a speech of just about what Land Run means to me and what it is and how people are capable. And Unlearn Pavement. Unlearn Pavement's my Instagram handle. Check it out. Unlearn Pavement is all about to do something incredible. You may not need to learn something new. You might just have to unlearn something. And gravel roads, man. Unlearn Pavement. Getting back to the roots, back to who you maybe were created to be, who you are. That's what Unlearn Pavement's all about. So I always speak about that. There's tons more to talk about with that too. But anyway, we have live music on Friday night intermixed with this writers meeting that we do. Right. And this year I've got 1,300 people now. I've let in people off the wait list and I've let people in. So we've got 100 runners. We've got like 1,200 cyclists between the 50-mile ride and the 100-mile ride. And we're going to shut down 7th in front of District instead of doing the writers meeting somewhere else and have live music and everything out in front of the shop. So I've got 3 acts. I got to go back to that story about waking up early in the morning. I'm going to head right back to that. But I've got really good friend Carter Halsey. Carter Halsey recorded one of his last records, not his newest one, but his old record Carter recorded with Ace Enders from early November.
Oh, yeah.
Super good friends with Carter. We went on our first tour together. He's from Joplin, Missouri, and good friends with a bunch of the dudes from the Joplin, Missouri music scene. So he's coming in off tour from Nashville. He'll be here to open or actually he'll play second, I think. Owen Pye is a super good friend of mine. He's playing at the writers meeting, and he's singer-songwriter guy from St. Louis, Missouri. I booked shows for him in Kansas. He helped book shows for us in St. Louis when I was in Your Honor. Owen's phenomenal. Such a good dude. Really tall. Super tall dude. So I was like, well, we need a headliner, right? We need a headliner. So we were talking about Saves the Day, Get Up Kids. Get Up Kids have been my absolute favorite band. Alongside Saves the Day, it kind of goes back and forth.
You guys have a lot in common with that.
Since I was 15.
Yeah,
just
pretty much.
Nonstop. Like when I got my hands on something to write home about, like nothing was ever the same.
It's a game changer.
Yeah.
It's fun. Oh my God. Yeah. And dude, on a Wire is as much of a game changer, and everybody that thinks different can. Anyway.
Well, not to stop.
No, let's go back.
No. On a Wire is a record that you have to go back. If it didn't hit you when you were like 19, you have to go back and listen to it and
you're
respect
exactly
it
right.
and rediscover. But I digress. Why would you bring that up?
Okay, so
funny you might ask that, Josh.
I had reached out to Matt Pryor's booking agent via email through his website about 3 weeks ago, and I was like, I'm just going to go for it. I have no idea. There's no way it's going to happen. He's not going to be able to do it, but he's on tour during Land Run, which is March 10th. Friday night is the writers meeting and live music. March 11th is the day of the race. He's on tour, and before that weekend, he's in Austin, and then after, he's at home at the Replay Lounge in Lawrence. And I was like, dude, he's got a week or so or whatever of off time. This could work. Didn't hear anything from his booking agent. I was talking to my buddy Kale, my best friend, who's also a drummer. So Kale, I was like, dude, if you hear back from him, you tell me. He's like, this will be intense. And so I hadn't mentioned anything to Ray until last Friday, a week ago today. I woke up at like 5 a.m. and I was just, I was on Messenger or whatever and was thinking about Land Run and thought, you know what? I'm just going to Facebook message Pryor. I'm just going to do it.
Yeah.
He's probably not going to
do something big.
I'm just going to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Take a leap.
No holds bar. And so I did it. I messaged him. And I was like, hey, this is the deal. This is Land Run. This is what it is. We've got 1,300 people from 30 states, Canada and England coming in to do the ride. I've got top 4 cycling magazines in the country, Bicycling Magazine, Dirt Rag, MTBR, Mountain Bike Review Forums.com is coming to ride the event. Anyway, we've just got tons of things happening. You should come play. Let me know what the logistics look like for that. Let me know what your wants, needs, all of that are.
Right.
Didn't expect a response. 7:15 a.m. Matt messaged me back. He's like, dude, that sounds sweet.
Oh, that's awesome.
And he's like, email me at New Ams, at my email address or whatever. And so New Amsterdam's. And he's like, email me this and get me all the logistics and we'll talk about it. So that I'm like, dude, I'm gonna get my kids to school.
How did you feel, dude?
Like on top of the damn world. I gotta Ray's here right now, and I messaged Ray immediately. I was like, I'm losing my shit, and I like screenshotted the message between Matt and I.
To keep.
Oh, I have it forever.
Yeah.
Matt, I'm sorry if you're listening to this, dude. I'm a total geek fan, boy. Like this is how it is, and I'm totally having you play my race.
Yeah,
It's stupid.
you're glowing.
Yeah, that's
You're
awesome.
glowing.
It's awesome.
I've
though.
seen them so many times.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm like, dude, I got to get my kids to school. I'll email you as soon as I get done. So 10 o'clock, I get all done with all the kids and stuff and get to my office. I email him the whole thing, schedule events. And 15 minutes later, he's like, dude, this sounds incredible. I'm going to send it on to my booking agent. If you don't hear from him in a couple of days, let me know. So 3 days go by, and I'm like, all right, hey, Matt, I hadn't heard from him. Let me know what's up. Immediately, he's like, dude, I'm on it.
That's so cool.
Guys, the 2 booking agent guys I was working with get a hold of me, told me the parameters. I said, absolutely, yes. I got him a place to stay, got him coming down, and Matt's like, it's worked out. We're coming to doing it. So
That's
Matt Pryor
awesome.
from the Get Up Kids, New Amsterdam's, is headlining our writers meeting Friday night, March 10th, downtown Stillwater. It's a free show. Come, we're paying for it.
Yeah, amazing.
Everybody is welcome.
Hell yeah.
We'll have beer. We'll have a beer garden outdoor. If it's rainy, we'll be in the Stillwater Community Center, 2 blocks south of the bike shop of District, but corner of 7th and Husband, downtown Stillwater. Free show. Matt Pryor. You cannot make this up.
That's a wonderful announcement. I really appreciate that you brought that to this show.
You can cut this and put this at the beginning of the podcast if you want. By the way,
we'll just double feature it.
Yeah.
No, we like to make them wait.
Yeah,
man.
make
Good,
them
make
wait.
'em wait.
That is awesome.
I like to make them wait.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about.
Hell yeah. Edging, they call that.
Wow. Yeah.
I'm getting in with the kids' lingo these days.
I don't know anything about that.
Yeah, edging AF. Yeah.
Dude, I'm edging AF. That's not being said.
Man, that's so cool.
I'm always the one first anyway. Doesn't
Yeah.
So is it going to be like a solo, like acoustic set?
It is all acoustic.
Yeah.
Matt Pryor. He's got a new record coming out
Yeah.
like this week, I think, and so he'll be in touring of support of that. And so I don't want to ask too much, but I almost want to get with Ray and like you guys and be like, all right, what do we want to hear? And just
Dude, seriously.
and just ask him.
Oh yeah.
Because dude, I really, really, really want Central Standard Time.
Yeah.
I really want Picture in the Paper. I mean, I want all the good things.
Oh, I'm sure he'll play. He'll play him. He'll play the good stuff.
He's got to.
Dude, and hit us up like a week or 2 before, and we'll plug it on the show.
That sounds great.
Yeah.
Let's do it because I want
Absolutely.
everyone's invited.
Oh,
This
yeah.
is a free show. We want you to come and just be
I mean,
outside.
the more the merrier, literally. Like, you want to pack it out. You want to
hell
show
yeah.
him that
Absolutely.
it's worth his time, which
Right.
it will be, obviously.
Well,
I want-
you'll get people from like Tulsa, Oklahoma City, like
Wichita, hopefully.
Wichita,
Ponca City,
Arkansas,
like, all
everyone's
around.
coming over. Yeah.
Enid, bustling
Yeah.
place.
And it's funny because I
Enid's
had
huge.
that's the big draws from Enid, Oklahoma. It's funny because that's where I'm from.
Yeah,
that's where
man.
we're from.
Yeah, we're from, man.
But
Hometown.
it's funny because I haven't been to Stillwater in so long, and
Dude, this place is fucking banging.
dude, and it's like
happening.
it's like a fucking hop, skip, and a jump from where we
I
live.
know, dude. It's
we
like
got here
45 minutes, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like an hour.
Yeah, okay.
But like before we knew it, we were here. I was like, oh wow, it says 5 minutes. Like, oh no, it was 10 minutes to downtown.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
Stillwater.
10 minutes too far.
Interesting. Well, cool, man. Okay, so we got to wrap up soon.
Yeah, man.
So what's
No,
next,
please,
man?
please.
Like, besides this huge
Yeah.
event that you just dropped on us.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So we're 4 weeks out. This has become kind of my full-time job on top of the shop and on top of doing other things. What's next is kind of up in the air because of something that already happened. So we'll close with this, you guys decide, obviously. But
No. You go ahead and you just produce our show for
We're
us.
gonna rename the show, rebrand it, Bobby and the Boys.
Bobby and the
Yeah.
Bicycle Bob and the
Bicycle
boys.
Bob and the Boys.
I
I
will
like the
come-
alliteration
Yeah.
there.
I will come and drink beer and get weird with you guys
Hell yeah.
anytime.
Yeah.
Well, next time we got to do it in our studio.
Please.
Our
'cause
turf.
We got a nice little thing going.
Dude, on
so.
our turf.
But man, this has been wonderful. So
Dude,
yeah,
thank
yeah,
you
hell
guys.
yeah, man. What's next?
So 8 years ago, I saw a documentary called Ride the Divide, and I don't know if you guys have seen it. Have you seen it?
Have not.
It used to be on Netflix. I don't know if it is anymore, but basically there's this race from Banff, Alberta, Canada, which is about 253 miles north of the border into Canada, that goes along the Continental Divide in the Rocky Mountains to Mexico, to Antelope Wells, New Mexico, which is just a border crossing. And that was at the time where we really started to get into the inner workings of opening the shop and writing our business plan and coming up with the whole grand scheme of district. And I've just thought, I have to do this race. It's 2,745 miles. It's completely self-contained.
Mm-hmm.
It's across the country, north to south. It is a race. You're going through these tiny towns. It just blew my mind. I couldn't even.
How many miles again?
2,745 miles. So at the time,
I wouldn't do that in a fucking car.
I'll bring my skateboard.
yeah, and it's all.
I'll tow you.
It's mostly dirt. It's like 500 miles of pavement that's connecting in between towns, but it's mostly dirt roads and camping. You know, you can do hotels here and there, but man, you carry a tent or a bivvy. Anyway, long story short, I finally, at the end of 2015. Made the commitment. I was like, I'm getting on the wait list. I'm getting on the rider list. It's free. It's the most expensive free event you could ever possibly do. And so Seth Wood, who's an English professor on campus, but also one of my best friends in Stillwater, and he works part-time at the shop. Actually, his bike right behind you, that green bike, that's the bike that he did it on. And him and I went to Canada. June 10th, we started. We rolled out. We got rained on for 10 straight hours that first day. 40 degrees, completely soaking wet. Made it 110 miles the first day. Anyway, there's so many stories. We could have a whole nother podcast, but we did the Tour Divide 2016, 2,745 miles. We averaged 113 miles a day, completely self-contained, and we did it in 24 days and 1 hour.
Damn.
Gosh.
And that was like my thing that I've been thinking about nonstop. Besides opening a business, having kids, moving to another state.
Yeah,
What it
a
seems with-
few other things.
What it seems with all of this is that you've had that kind of like, you know, Robbie and I have talked about on the podcast, having these goals and just fucking jumping and doing it. Like selling everything you own to move to an apartment.
Clamp it style.
Right.
Let's sign an agreement on this car that hopefully we can make payments for in 3 months. And then you start this shop up, and next thing you know, you have this really badass shop. You're riding 2,700 miles on a fucking bike like a madman.
Yeah.
And then you're doing this event with Matt Pryor. That's super cool, man. And
Dude,
then
it's crazy we get to talk about
there's
this.
more
That's
shit.
incredible.
I'm sure there's going to be
There's
more and more. Like, it seems like every year you're just going to do something crazier and crazier. So what's 2020 going to be like?
Yeah, I don't even know. I don't know right now. I've got invited from the dude that's running the French Divide. It's a 1,000-mile ride across France, and so I'm thinking about
Hell yeah, man.
going over there and doing that. I'm not competitive. The dude that won this year broke the record. He did 13 days.
You just want to do it to do it.
I just want to do it.
That's a big difference. Like 13 days.
He did it in 13 days and was sleeping like 2 to 3 hours a night.
Whew.
And he's Matt Hall, or I'm sorry, Mike. Sorry, Mike. I know you're not going to listen to this, but Mike Hall he's from the UK. He just rode alone all the way from the start to the end.
Incredible.
And anyway, so yeah, that the whole bike packing thing for me is next, right? So there's a 275-mile loop around this mountain called Steens Mountain in southern Oregon, and I'm putting together a group that's completely public. End of September, early October, we're gonna drive up there, total hangout style, like almost like let's get a tour together, but it's like our best friends in the world.
Right.
And I've got guys from the industry, I've got guys from here in town, I've got people from all over. But we're just gonna go do a 5-day whiskey, drinks, smokes, whatever around, and it just goes around, circumnavigates this mountain, hot springs, there's like a burger joint, and then we're going to climb the mountains, a 5,000 foot climb the last day.
Man.
And so we'll do 4 or 5 days, 300 miles, all self-contained, no indoor sleeping.
You're making me feel extremely lazy.
I know. No, I was
You
thinking,
can do this. That's the whole
I know.
point.
I probably could. I just have to like do it.
I was thinking
Right.
like this is so inspiring. Next time I bring like the Brahms burger to my couch and I go, damn, I forgot the ketchup. I'm gonna think of you,
You're gonna
Bobby.
get it.
I'm like, I'm gonna go get
You
the
can get it,
ketchup.
yeah.
I'm not gonna eat these fries dry.
No, which I usually do. But
You
yeah.
can even throw away that bag. It doesn't have to stay there.
It doesn't have to
That's
stay there
right. You
overnight.
can do it.
You can do it.
And you can take a shower
But that's the thing.
after.
But that's the thing, though. And all jokes aside, all kidding aside,
All kidding, a salad.
it's a thing.
AF.
Just it's tiny steps. Just have a thing and do it. I'm gonna start doing that shit now. It really, truly is really inspiring that you're doing all this
Dude,
shit.
it goes from that moment where 20 miles was frightening, and you guys
Exactly.
said it, you
Back
guys
to
were
the
like,
front, like 20 miles. They're like, yeah, I'm gonna do 2,700 miles. Like,
dude, it was completely outside of our brains. Like the only thing we knew was forward. Forward. And I think that's kind of the driving force behind. And my wife has it too, dude. She did the Trans Iowa race this past year. She signed up to do it again this April. Trans Iowa is a gravel race, 100% self-supported also, but it's nonstop, and you cannot sleep. If you sleep, you miss a time cutoff. So she did 340 miles, and she missed the finish cutoff. They have a finish cutoff, and she missed it by 15 minutes. And so she's doing it again. So she's not an official finisher, even though she did the entire thing.
yeah,
But she's doing that again.
to be official.
Yeah. 340 miles of gravel nonstop.
That's awesome,
I
man.
rode across Oregon in 2015 without sleep. I did it in 40 hours and 58 minutes, 364 miles. That was my training ride to know if I could do the divide. And I rode from Klamath Falls, Oregon, dirt all the way up to the Columbia River Gorge. And that was fucking crazy, dude. I still feel like I can't sleep right because of that.
And as you're saying this, I feel myself getting fatter.
It comes in waves, dude.
Right. And I'm sure, like, when you're done with the race like that, do you come back and just like crash? Like, do you have some downtime, or are you right back at the shop?
So after Tour Divide, Oregon, yes, I was like on it because it was a one shot deal. Being gone for 24 days, travel time there and back. We were gone for like 31 days.
Mm-hmm.
It took me 2 months to get
Recover.
back.
Right. Yeah.
And I think, honestly, you guys, like 2 weeks ago, I really got my focus back. And it's been 7 months.
Yeah.
And I still have trouble, like, using soap on dishes, like,
Yeah,
just
right.
stupid shit.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
like, I don't need that. Like,
Not
I
drinking,
live for
not drinking
30
my
days.
beverages out of a Camelback.
I did, right. And
I can just imagine you walking around the house with a Camelback on.
But just my
Red wine, spaghetti, what?
my focus was screwed and was really bad, really messed up. I couldn't be here and just deal with like normal regular day things. And a lot of people that do the Tour Divide, I think, will attest to that it's just kind of this Tour Divide mentality that anyway, but no, I mean, I've finally gotten back in the groove, and I had to because Land Run's coming, and that's like I said, it's a huge deal for us. And anyway,
this will come out before that.
I
right?
would love for it to come out before.
Absolutely.
And then we'll promote the shit out of it before that too.
That'd be great.
Dude, yeah, because it sounds like awesome. I mean, apparently it's already cut off. It's sold out in what, 20 minutes?
Yeah, 2 hours. 2 hours,
2 hours.
50
2 hours,
minutes.
50 minutes.
But
Well,
it was 1,300 spots.
Might as well be. That's
But
fucking
you can still
insane.
come to the show
Come to the show,
and see Matt
show.
Pryor,
drink beer.
and a possible flyover.
And it's right here,
And a
right next
cannon.
door is Iron Monk Brewing. There's probably some bars around here you can hang out
Yep.
with. Book a hotel and stay the night in Stillwater.
Do it. Do
Yeah.
it. Finnegan's Fighting Goat is our bar of choice. We do a Monday Fun Day ride. If anybody's listening to this and they are a cyclist, we ride every week, at least 2, if not 3 or 4 group rides. But Monday Fun Day is our no drop, super slow, bring a beer. We go out on the gravel about 7 or 8 miles south of town. We crack a beer, and then we ride back and go to Finnegan's downtown. They let us bring bikes inside.
That's awesome.
It's the best shit ever.
Well,
Yeah.
Bobby, man,
Cool,
thank you
man. This has
so
been
much.
badass.
This
Thank
has
you,
been
guys. Really
amazing.
badass.
And next time, you got to come to our turf. We'll and keep us updated about all this shit. We'll be
will, for
happy
sure.
to plug it, man.
You guys
So-
tell me when and where, and I'm there. But Matt's
Hell yeah.
going to play Friday night, March 10th, downtown Stillwater, to be determined, 7, 8 p.m. Just come early and hang out.
Yeah.
It'll be
yeah.
good.
Awesome.
And again, it's districtbicycles.com and at districtbicycles on Instagram. Bobby, again, thank you so much, man, for having us in your space.
Thanks AF. Bye.